What is up, Ludi Bros Army? It's your boy Big Bro Lamar Ludi, sitting tandem to bring you guys my second place Towa deck profile from my locals that I just played at this last weekend. But before we get into the deck profile, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. I try to bring you guys the deck list for any decks that I get first or second with at my locals, so you want to have that notification bell turned on so you'll be able to get those, so you'll be notified whenever I drop a deck profile for you guys. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at this deck. My matchups this weekend were I faced off with the Broly with some of the hand control that you might have seen played at the Worlds recently. It was like, I think, the 4th place deck list. So I matched up with that round 1. I was able to beat that. Round 2, I matched up with the blue Vegeta deck. Round 3, I matched up with Dark Broly and took the loss there. And then in round 4, I matched up with Green Videl. So I was able to go 3-1. And had a good time running this deck. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So the leader is Towa. She's going to have a permanent, which is going to lower the cost of all non-black battle cards with Zeno in their character names by 1 and treat them as if they had no specified cost. Auto, when this card attacks, you're going to add 1 card from your left to your hand and draw 1, and she awakens at 4 or less by drawing 1 and restanding 1. To become Towa and Meki Kabura Dark Conjurer, she still has the same permanent of lowering the cost of all the Zeno cards. She's a strong girl. When she attacks, she's going to draw 1 and gain +5. And then something that came in very handy this weekend, if you lose a non-black battle card, if it's removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, you get to draw 1. So I was able to abuse that this weekend in my matchups. Let's go ahead and check out the deck. So I'm running 4 copies of the Dark Dragon Balls. What this card is going to allow you to do is, if your leader card is Towa, you're going to look it up to 7 cards. I'm just going to read the portion that applies. You're going to search out a non-black battle card with Zeno in the character name. So this is helping you search through your deck. It's adding you some consistency. Ran 4 copies of that. And the Zeno package that I have had going on is 2 copies of the SS4 Sungohan Prismatic Aegis. He's not gonna he's gonna come out for 1 less energy, so, and you don't have to worry about it being green. You can just go ahead and tap it. He has no specified cost. When this card is played from your hand, you'll get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 incident to the warp. So I'm running 2 copies of him. I'm running 4 copies of this SS4 Vegeta Prismatic Aegis. He's also going to come out for just 1 energy. He's got crit. When this card is played for your hand, you're going to draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card in your hand, and you're going to place it at the bottom of your deck. So those were my these 2 guys were making up my aggressive package, which I was always looking for Vegeta at the beginning of the game, trying to bring him out turn 1. For my defense, I was running SS4 Bardog Prismatic Burst. He ends up being a 1-drop counterplay. Play this card if the battle card being played has 20,000 power or less. You'll place the owner's drop area instead. This card was great in every matchup except for the Dark Broly, which is why I lost. That matchup, because all the Dark Brolys are 30k, and this guy only hits 20. So that was a big reason for that loss. And then the other SS4 is the SS4 Sungohan Prismatic Burst. For 1 energy, you're going to end up negating the attack and playing this card, and then you can ditch 1 card from your hand. If you do, your opponent can only attack with battle cards and unison cards X more times for the turn, where X is equal to the number of colors in their energy. So this is the floodgate for the deck. And it really worked out very well because the decks that I played against, they were all pretty much monocolored decks. So that really benefited me a lot. Now, another little engine that I'm running for these SS4 pieces, I'm running 4 copies of Demon God Towa, Restoring the Dark Empire. Just got to activate main for 1 energy. If your leader card is Towa and your opponent has 2 or more energy, I discard this card from my hand, and I'll place 1 card from my life into the drop. You can't activate skills and copies this card for the turn, so you can only do this once. And what you're going to do is you're going to play up to 2 non-black battle cards with Zeno and their character name, different card names, and energy costs of 2 or less from your deck with their skills negated for the turn. Then you'll shuffle your deck. So this lets you play them out, lets you be very aggressive. Because of the fact that I'm taking life here and I'm taking life with another engine piece that you'll see in a minute, there was a couple times where I didn't take the life on my Leaders Unawakened side. When she would swing, I knew that I was going to have to manage my life economy very well. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when you're running this deck. I run 4 copies of the Unison SS4 Bardog Spirit Resonance. and he's here just for that extra body for swinging and his activate main +1. You're gonna draw 1 card. Now he does have the -2, which could be very useful, but I didn't have to use it this weekend until the end of your opponent's next turn. They can't attack with battle cards unless they choose 1 card in their hand and send to their warp each time. So that's another great floodgate. But I was just using it to make sure that my hand size was nice and big, and he was acting as that extra body in case I was going to have to need an attack. So this is the SS4 portion of the deck. But what I was running along with it, and why I said that you need to watch your life and don't be too eager to take your own life, is because you want to be able to use this effect as well. So this is Demigra, Demonic Overlord, activate main, bursting 2 for 2 energy. So this deck has plenty of turn 2 plays. If your leader card is Demigra or Towa and you place this card from your hand in your drop, you're going to choose 1 or 2 cards in your life, you'll add them to your hand, then choose up to 1 Gravy and 1 Putin from your deck and or Warp, and you're going to play them. Then you'll shuffle your deck if you look through it. So once again, you can see here, like, I'm taking my life quite a bit, either with the leader swing or with the effects of the Towa or the Demigra. And then the targets that I was playing for the Gravy was just 2 copies of Gravy's Lightning Might and 1 copy of Demon God Gravy Ritual at hand. It didn't really matter for the Gravy. I'm playing this guy. He's a big body at 20k, so he's basically like a vanilla, but coming out off of that effect. And then I played 1 copy of this Gravy. Auto once per turn. When this card attacks, your opponent may send 1 battle card from their drop area to their warp. If they don't, this card gets plus 15,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So I just thought he would be a nice addition to the deck. So I'm running those as my Gravy targets. And then I'm running 2 separate Putin targets. So I'm running Putin the Dark Sorcerer, and I'm running 2 copies of Demon God Putin Ritual at hand. Now this Putin is here because she's 15k, so I can use her, you know, pretty aggressively. This is an aggro style deck, so 15 is going to threaten. And then this Putin the Dark Sorcerer, this is the one that I always wanted to get out first. Auto, she has that auto when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter skill, choose up to 1 of their battle cards and switch it to rest. So that's so useful, being able to include this powerful card in the deck. She's got barrier and she's got unique. So whenever I would activate the Demigra, I was always searching for this one first to get her on the field. After you do this 1 time, typically these would become energy targets. So then you can just go ahead and charge there. The super combo, I'm running 4 copies of SS4 Sungohan Time Patrol Elite, just the generic 10k combo, and drawing 1. And then now for all of the little extras, I was running 2 copies of Majin Buu Wickedness Incarnate. He could possibly be bursted with this. One of the things too is that you cannot, all of these SS4 cards have 1 energy combo cost, so they can get kind of bricky in your hand. So I wanted something that I could combo away freely. But then he has the activate main for 1 energy. If your leader card's black, all of your energy is black. You send this card from the drop area to the warp. You're going to choose 1 black card in your hand. You're going to discard it. If you do, draw 2. So he's like a draw 8 for blacks. So I'm running 2 copies of that. I ran 2 copies of Petrification, and this is another card which this Majin Buu could come in handy for. If your leader card is black, you're going to negate the attack. You'll choose 1 card in your hand and place it in your drop. If you place a card in your drop area, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier, and to can't attack or be placed in your opponent's combo area or activate skills until the end of your next turn. So I ran 2 copies of Petrification, 2 copies of Furthering Destruction Champa, trying to end this game as quickly as possible. And then with the Vegeta, you're hoping to go double strike crit nice and early. When you combo this card, you're going to give something double strike plus 10k. And then for a few 1-ofs, I was running 1 copy of Demon God Demigra, the power, True Power Unleashed. Dark Overrun this guy out. You're going to want a Dark Overrun 5 for him, and that's just 2 energy. When this card is played using Overrun or Dark Overrun, you'll draw 1, then you'll choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and you'll send it to the warp. And then auto, when this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and sends it to their warp. So you get a little hand control with him. I was running 1 copy of Mass Saiyan Brainwash No More for his Activate Battle. For 1 energy, if your leader card is black and you discard this card from your hand, you'll place 1 card from your life into the drop area, and then your leader card doesn't take damage for the battle. So once again, you see that you have to be very aware of where you're at with your life, because you're using a lot of effects in the deck. Fu, the Dark Banisher, this card was actually MVP for me. He won me 2 games. He's got triple attack, Overwhelm, 8 for 4 energy. permanent, your opponent can't activate skills unless they choose one card in their hand and send it to their warp. So this is very clutch because he's going to be able to swing with triple attack, 25k, and put pressure on the opponent. And then for the secret rare, I'm running the SS4, the Vermilion Saiyans. I ran this for the counter attack, and it came up in my last game against Fidel. Counter attack for each card color among cards in battle areas and energy areas. You're going to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and you're going to send it to the owner's warp. For each card sent to the warp using the skill, up to one of your leader cards gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. So it gets a little Sensu Bean effect, and it kind of board wipes them. I only used it one time, but that was able to boost up my leader by 5k, and then I was able to fight off my opponent's attacks. So like I said, my matchups were pretty good. I got to face off with the starter deck Broly with the hand control engine. I got to face off with Blue Vegeta. Now the matchup with Dark Broly was difficult because, like I said, all those guys are 30k, and my counterplay can only hit a 20k. And then I finished off facing Videl and beating Videl thanks to the secret rare. Alright, well, I thank you guys for tuning into this video. Hope you enjoyed the deck profile. It's a very simple deck, which you can, it's pretty budget friendly with all the all these cards coming in the anniversary box, and you can run anything for your secret rare. It doesn't have to be this, but even then, this is pretty budget friendly too. So this is a very budget friendly deck, and it's super aggressive if that's your type of play style. Alright, well, thank you for tuning into this video. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching the video.